So the world has started to go off the deep end, and I wanted to discuss a couple of these things. It's not a video to point fingers at anybody or anyone, to say anybody is right or wrong. It's simply to show that the Bible itself is against the idea that any person or group of people is higher than anybody else or more or less valued in the eyes of God. And when it really comes down to it, whether we came from evolutionary pond scum that turned into a monkey that turned into a human, or we came from a creator God, we're all actually cousins and a family. And if we considered each other family, or as a family should be, then we wouldn't really have any of these issues going on. So we're going to start at the beginning, and by the beginning we're going to be talking about in Genesis 1. So in Genesis chapter 1, 27 to 28, I'll read it here. It says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. Then God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth," etc. And so according to the Bible, and if you were to follow your family tree back, you would come to one set of parents of which we are all the descendants of. So once again, if you follow your family tree back, you would come to one set of parents of which we are all descendants. All right, so next is going to be Deuteronomy chapter 10, 17 to 19. And once again, Old Testament. "For the Lord your God is the God of God and Lord of lords, the great God, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality, nor takes a bribe. He administers justice for the fatherless and the widow, and loves the stranger, giving him food and clothing. Therefore love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." They were a group of people that, the Egyptians took into slavery. God took them out of slavery, and he said, because you're in that bondage and you were a stranger in their land, then you know what it's like to be treated poorly. And when you are in your own land that I'm taking you, I want you to treat and love the people that are strangers to you, of different nationalities is basically what that's saying. And then we're going to jump over to the New Testament, and we're going to go to Acts chapter 10, 34 to 35. "Then Peter opened his mouth and said, in truth, I perceive that God shows no partiality, but in every nation, whoever fears him and works righteousness is accepted by him." And a couple more in the New Testament. 1 Corinthians 10:13. "For by one Spirit we were all baptized into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, whether slaves or free, all have been made to drink into one Spirit." There is no difference between us. James 2 verse 9. "But if you show partiality, you commit sin, and are convicted by the law as transgressors." So if we show special treatment to one person, we are loving somebody else less. And that is the essence of hatred in the Bible, is to love something less. And finally, we're going to go to Revelation 7, 9 to 10. And it says, "After these things I looked, and behold, a great multitude which no one could number, of all nations, tribes, tongues, and peoples, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes, with palm branches in their hands, and crying with a loud voice, saying, Salvation belongs to our God who sits on the throne and to the Lamb." So as you can see, everybody's there, and nobody is valued over anybody else. We are all loved eternally and infinitely. So I just want to share those thoughts with you, let you know that the Bible shows that there is no partiality with God for anybody, and he treats everybody fairly and loves everybody equally, and he loves them infinitely. And so I just wanted to bring those points up, show the Bible's perspective on how God views his children, And yeah, I'd also like to thank, the law enforcement individuals who do not abuse their power and who are actually good people, putting their lives on the line for others. It's much appreciated for that work that you do. Anyway, hope everybody has a wonderful day.